Welcome to the Success Journey Show. Let's travel together through the lives of individuals on their road to success.
Hey, what's going on, travelers? It is Ricky Ventures and Marlon Madden, and we are back again with you for another week of the Success Journey Show. What is going on, Marlon? How you doing, bro?
Bro, I am enjoying life.
Yes.
It's after the holidays, going into another holiday. So I'm enjoying life, man. How are you doing?
Man, I'm doing well. Same here, man. It's as we're recording this, it's coming to the end of the year. And it's just like, able to relax. I reflected over, everything that's going on this year. And I stopped and think like, wow, in the last 12 months, man, so much has happened. I mean, so much has happened in the last 12 months to the point where, me and my boys were driving home today from their MMA class, and we were all reminiscing like, hey, remember when we used to drive over to this neighborhood and our house was just dirt, and grass, and it was driving there. There wasn't even a full road over here yet. So just thinking about all that stuff and just, where we are now, decorating for the holidays, just in our space, it feels good, man. We're blessed, grateful, and just in a place of gratitude, man. Just thanking God for everything. I mean, and that's what I'm gonna say, man. I'm just thanking God for everything right now, dude. Because without Him, I don't know how I would have made it through this year, dude.
Yeah. It's crazy. If everybody's seen this shirt and they're like, is that a new the Success Journey Show? Is that the journey wear? No, this is actually from one of our guests. He's actually going to be, well, when you hear this, he already been on, but Troy Blyden, he plays for the you probably want to go back and listen to that episode. He plays for the
episode 121. Yep, episode 121.
You want to go back to that one? This is his shirt. If you go on his website, troyblyden.com. I am perfect. I'm perfect. Imperfect. It's a real nice play on words. And you can get one of these shirts. He has hoodies and all that stuff too. Maybe we're gonna start telling people, hey, send us some of your merch. We'll wear it and promote it for you guys. So probably we'll start putting that segment in next year. Rick, man, I'm telling you, this year has been a real eye opener. We've accomplished a lot together individually and also collectively. We have accomplished new things. You moved up like Georgia Wheezy, man. You're making big bucks. You know what I'm saying? Right. And leaving us peasants down here, man. So you got yourself to a new job. I can also talk about this now. I got selected for the Congressional Fellowship Program. And if anybody knows what that is, or you don't know what it is, basically I go on the Hill and go work with a senator for a year. And then I go back to the Pentagon and work in the capacity of Joint Chiefs or Office of Legislative Affairs. I could work in cyber, something like that, systems command. There's all these different places that I could end up working for while still being in uniform, right? So, of course, I'll have on a suit, but that's what I'll be doing for the next 4 years. So it's been it was a process. We had to do you had to submit your package, first have the requirements. And it's funny enough, I'm not an officer, a commissioned officer, I'm a non-commissioned officer. And for those of you that know what that is, you know what that is. But basically I did, but I have my master's, right? And usually people that have their master's, they go commissioned officer, but I'm a non-commissioned officer enlisted. And one of the requirements is that you have your bachelor's, but they're favorable to your master's, right? So just even having that helped me open the door to doing that. So when I did my master's way back, I never thought it was going to be something that I'd be using, but this program, having that give me the availability to sign up to this program. And, process, 18 of us, they picked 5 of us. So it was a great process, interview process and everything, very eye-opening. And I'm pretty excited. I'll go to Georgetown, do a course, and then head over on the Hill next year.
Man, that's a big move, man. You're talking about me, man. That's a big move, man. Man, so happy for you, man. Proud of seeing just what you made your career to be. You took advantage at each step, try to grow. And I mean, this is just proof is in the pudding here, man. A lot of people do military, but a lot of people do it, do it really, really do it, take advantage of it. And those that know, they know what I'm talking about. And so, man, this right here is just another notch on your belt or another medal on your arm, whatever, or flag, or whatever they call it. Another award on your trophy case, whatever it may be. But definitely, just man, just happy to be witness to just the greatness that you have portrayed, and just where you're going with it. So, and I'm glad to call you partner, man. My partner, he is in.
Yeah, I'm gonna set it. Well, presenter of the house, whichever where I go to. But whatever. I'm pretty much a big deal.
So love it, dude. Yeah, a lot of things are going on with us, guys, and I want to say thank you all for being a part of this journey with us, because you guys have been with us every step of the way. I was looking at videos from 2018 when we first recorded. Man, we were both looking younger. How hard that is. How hard that is, man. We were both looking younger. I was like, yo, I look younger there, man. So, going through these last few years of just doing this over and over, just for you, and we want to thank you for being a part, because this is a level of accountability for us as well, so to you. So thank you for journeying with us. Stay tuned for, what's coming next. And, like we always say every single week, you don't want to miss this next segment with our guests coming in. You do not want to miss. So if you need to stop, pause, use the bathroom, get interrupted, go do that now. But you do not want to miss this episode here. So, guys, thanks for hanging out with us. Check us out on the Success Journey Show, and we're going to bring in our guests. All right, travelers. We are here at our favorite segment of this show, and that is when we get a chance to talk to someone about their journey, talk about where they began, talk about where they are now, and just everything in the middle. So we are so grateful to be able to bring Howie Zales onto the show with us today. Howie, thank you so much for joining us.
Hey guys, I'm honored to be here. Thank you so much.
It's honored to have you.
It's an honor, man. And so Howie, why don't you start off with sharing with all of our listeners, and we call them travelers because they're on this journey with us, or we're on a journey with them, we should say. Just a little bit about yourself, and just who is Howie?
Sure. I am a veteran. I've been in the television industry for about 25 years. I'm a camera operator by trade. I worked with NBC Sports and the World Wrestling Entertainment for over 20 years. I've done Olympics, Super Bowls, Kentucky Derbies, you name it. If it's a sporting event, I've shot it. And I've had the awesome fortune to travel the world doing it. And I have the best job in the world, and I'm so grateful for it. And simultaneous to that, I've always had a television production company on the side where we would hire TV crews, anywhere from camera people to audio people to replay people, anyone that it takes to do a TV show in the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut area. And that's where we started out. And now we're kind of nationwide, where we hire TV crews for sporting events and entertainment shows.
Love it, man. Oh, we're gonna have a good time with this one.
Yeah, we are. Veteran. You said veteran. What
of the business, not a veteran.
Okay.
You got this military guy excited.
Yeah. You got me excited.
No, we don't have a military person on this week, Marlon. All right, that was the last 5 episodes. Okay, a civilian like me. Thank you, Howie. No, listen, man. I'm so excited to jump into this because of just I've grown to love and appreciate just the people behind the scenes that capture what everyone sees, right? A lot of people don't realize the hard work, the preparation, the attention to detail that individual needs to have in order for that person to enjoy the content that they're watching, right? it's gone to a day where, you know, sometimes I would rather, instead of going to a sporting event, I'd rather watch it on TV, just because that person behind the camera is able to capture it in a way that I'm not even able to see it in the stands. And one other thing I like to say before we're going to go in more on your story is I always get confused with the instant replay. Now, when I'm live at a game, I'm like, man, where's the instant replay at, right? So, you know, it's it's guys like you that capture the footage for that, you know, and work with the producers and all that kind of stuff. But Howie, let's jump into your story, because I'm excited to hear about, you know, how you kind of got started in this lane. Like, where do you realize you had this passion for the videography and just being in this field?
Yeah, great question. I wanted to play professional baseball. So in my childhood, all throughout high school, that was my goal, my plan. But I knew I needed a backup, and I needed an elective in 11th or 12th grade. And the description of the class was a TV production course with a trip to NBC Studios and 30 Rockefeller Center, and to watch a TV show being taped. I'm like, well, how bad can that be, right? That's an easy A. That's an easy A. And so I fell in love with TV, and I knew I needed to combine my love of sports and TV as what I was going to do. So I only applied to colleges that had TV departments or programs. And I grew up going to local sporting events, and I kind of reflected back on that. I would always watch and pay attention to the camera operators and what they were doing, and things like that. And and then thinking back, I have a family member. My mom's cousin was a New York Times photographer, so it kind of does run in the family. And I just kind of put it all together, and I knew, in high school exactly what I wanted to do.
Oh wow!
Yeah. Now tell me, I want to tell you this now. So you went to college for broadcasting and everything, correct? So it's a scary niche to go into, because you're going and you're paying this money for college, and then you see a lot of people come out. It's just like a musician. It's just like a writer. All these guys that come out, and then they come out to the world and they can't find something, and they're waiting tables while they're trying to get a gig. How did you maneuver yourself that when you came out, you prepared yourself to actually gain the job?
Yeah, great question. I applied. I'm from near New York City, so I graduated. I went with my resume to everywhere that said productions on it in New York City. I got a job, a low-paying production assistant job at a company on Long Island, and I had done an internship in my last semester in college, and they had the same piece of equipment to edit with that where I did my internship at this job, and the editor left very unexpectedly, and the owner of the company was flipping out, and I was like, well, I can do that because I just learned how to do that. So kind of slipped into that, but I really didn't have much fun doing it, and then I eventually took a job shooting news. And then I one day, I was at the news station, but everyone knew exactly what I wanted to do was sports. I just didn't know how to do it or how to get into it. And so ESPN called the newsroom one day and said, hey, we're looking for one more camera operator for a college basketball game. Can you recommend someone? So they recommended me, knowing that that's what I wanted to do. And that was like, one job. I met some of the right people, and that became another job, and it became another job, and it kind of just snowballed. And it's all showing up, giving 110%. You may not be the best, and you might be the newest person, but if you show up with a good attitude, that's just the key. That's what I found.
Oh man, I love it, man. That's a great answer, because one thing you said in that answer that really resonated with me was, you not only did you show up, but people knew that this is what the lane that you wanted to go in, right? So you were at a place that didn't necessarily have the platform for you to explore, sports the way that you wanted to, but you had to communicate that in some form or fashion, where they're talking about it with your colleagues, with the higher up, saying, hey, I really love sports, and then when the opportunity came, they were able to talk to you. They were able to refer you because they kind of knew what you wanted.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I talk about that because was it like, just communicating with friends, colleagues, higher ups? Like, tell a
It's
little bit
all
about that.
it's all mindset, right? If you think about it and you will it and you want it to happen, you got to go out and do everything possible to make whatever that is in your life happen. It's talking about it, it's believing it, dreaming it, um, researching it, whatever that it is, right? And making everyone know and understand that this is what you want to do. So when the situation arises, you're in their forefront, knowing that that they could recommend you for whatever that position or role is, because it's in the front of their mind.
Love it.
And that's what I did.
Hey, travelers, we did not pay Howie any money to say what he's saying right now. You are kicking what we have been preaching in terms of that mindset, networking, making yourself available, bloom where you're planted. All these different things that you're talking about is what we say that somebody need. I don't have the shirt on today, but our shirt, this is one of my boys' shirt. I'm perfect. And you can take it imperfect, I'm perfect. It can go many ways. But what we have on our shirt is a dream, drive, discipline, and diligence. That's what we call the quad Ds. And those quad Ds, we're saying if you have it in any facet of your life, you can be successful. Now talk about, now that you get into that position where they say, hey, you're over here at ESPN. You just got the phone call. You're sitting down there. When they told you, I don't know if you're jumping or you're trying to keep cool. You're sitting back like, oh, hey, thank you, right? Or were you jumping up for joy? But when you got to ESPN, how did you attack that? Even though it's basketball, how did you attack that? I know you said you just try to be the best you are, but what things did you put in your mind that says, hey, these are the things I'm going to do to ensure that these guys are going to keep me over here?
Right. So I kind of identified who, and maybe this is like a skill or a trait or whatever, but I identified who would be a good person to kind of latch on to, right? Because this is my first professional job, right? So I needed to latch on to someone to learn, and knowing that you need to learn is half the battle, right? So opening your mind up, asking, not being afraid to ask questions, knowing that if you make a mistake, that you only make that mistake one time, right? But always asking questions. And I was super excited, right? Because I saw that first job as the beginning of what I wanted to do, and it turned into other jobs. And so the basketball game aired on ESPN, but it wasn't hired or staffed by ESPN. It was by an outside agency. So after that one, a few months after that job, I had gotten a bunch more jobs, and it turned into, I was doing local sports kind of in the Boston, New York area. And I called ESPN themselves, and I got the head of the department that does all the hiring for freelancers. And I told the woman, Donna, I said, listen, this is who I am. This is what I've done. She said, you know what? Call me back in 5 years when you have more experience. And I was like, get out of here. So I literally went to a calendar and I wrote down 5 years later to the day. And I called her, and she had no idea what I was talking about. But I said, this is Howie Zales. I said, I called you 5 years ago on this day. And I told her what she told me. And I said, so I'm calling you back. I just let it light a fire under me. I wasn't going to take a no for an answer.
Wow. Yes, sir. Oh, that's an awesome story. That's an awesome story. But now, how did she? What was the reception to that? How did it turn out?
She actually loved it, and I worked a little bit for them, but my primary client was NBC at that time. So
okay, yeah. Hey, travelers, man, 5 years to the date, and what happened is probably when you first started, you wrote down that you put that star at that date. You're probably like, man, 5 years. But then when that fifth year came, sometimes it goes faster. It's good that you followed up with that, man. I'm telling you, that's a great story.
But what's even more is crazy about that story? Thinking about now, I could take my cell phone and I could put 5 years to the day and have that notification come up, right? And forget about it, right? But I don't think you put that in a cell phone to remind you 5 years from now. And the annual planners that everyone got, they were only for that year. I remember got my. So
that was
in the mind. Yeah, like I'm saying, so you got to think about this. Like he mentally put this in his mind, put this down in this date 5 years from now, and he was thinking about that every single year. Like, oh man, I got 4 years left. I got 3 years left. I got 2 years left.
You're in prison.
On
the wall.
And then I want to make that call. But guess this. I love this, Howie, man. This is amazing. He says my main client was NBC at that time when I called him back. Like you can't. Oh man, this is amazing. This is amazing. Like how we have so much in common. Every time you name these states, it resonates with me because I'm from the Northeast. The New York area, and I went to school in Long Island.
Awesome.
So so and in Connecticut, I have a lot of family in Connecticut. So that's all my space up there. So you're getting into you're working with these organizations. Did anything change for you at any point as you were now kind of living your dream, right? You're working with sports, and you're getting to be to whatever you envisioned is in front of you. Did that change you, or did it motivate you to say, hey, what else is out here for me to build on with this?
Yeah. I got hired to do a horse race one year, and it aired on NBC, but it was hired by an outside company, and I met the NBC's top director who directed it. And this was in like 2001-ish. And he said, hey, we're starting a new football league called the XFL. No one really knew about it, what it was. And he said, why don't you come do some Notre Dame football with us? See how you are doing football. And if you're good, then we'll, have you on the XFL. And that was the original XFL back in like 2000. So that kind of like jump started my career with NBC, and that kind of changed the trajectory of my career. Cause then on the sidelines of the XFL, I met the World Wrestling Entertainment people because it was a joint venture between NBC and the WWE. And then ended up shooting with the WWE for 20 years backstage. So I had, great experience with them as well.
Yes, sir. Oh man. You sound like I love it. Sounds like I could take you anywhere and you'll make things happen. I'll be like, hey, I need this right now. And I'll be like, I'll be right back. Hey, so now, you're talking about the fun side, about just the adventure. A lot of people, when you're doing business, they don't think about the administrative side, what comes with it and all that. The entrepreneurial side, everybody's hyped about, hey, I'm starting a business. But talk about that other side, the bookkeeping side, the things you had to do in order to keep yourself afloat.
Yeah, no, great questions. So, as an independent contractor, just as a camera operator, right? You're your own business. So you have to show up and do a good job, and you're only as good as your last job that you did, right? Then you have to bill for that job. You have to make sure that back then you didn't get paid on a W-2, you got paid as a 1099. So you had to take out a third of every check for taxes. And now things kind of changed where, and you have to do your own advertising. The work just doesn't come to you. You have to call the clients. You have to remind them you're out there. You have to send them your availability. So you have to, and you're your own salesperson, because there's so many people that do what you do that you have to sell yourself, and you're only as good as the last job that you did. And as a business owner, we own several businesses. I just literally stopped shooting camera because of the toll it's kind of taken on my body, but we have several businesses. And to your point, there's a lot to do, right? Sales, invoicing, billing, dealing with vendors, clients, contracts. So I learned this from a business coach of mine, Badris Koulian, who's the owner of Fit Body Bootcamp. I stay in my lane. I do the 3% that I'm good at. And then the people that I've surrounded myself with, mainly my wife, who's a lot smarter than I am, handles handles the, the important business side of things.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I don't know, Ricky, you came back on. You wanted to ask
Yeah.
something?
Sorry, I had to mute real quick. But no, this is great. They I mean, you're saying so many good things, Howie, and I'm trying to like I want our travelers to really be able to dissect everything you're saying, digest everything you're saying. So you said in there, hey, I'm not doing a lot, I'm not on the cameras as much now, but I have grown a business. I have multiple people working with me. So the love that I have for this production has now transpired from me being behind a camera, for me having multiple people behind cameras and still offering the service to people, right? So guys, that takes a skill. I mean, that takes a skill that, a lot of people, you can either be that entrepreneur where you're constantly working on the business and you're just that one guy showing up, 1099 coming in and
Right.
doing your contract work. Or you can say, hey, no, I'm going to expand this because I know I can't be everywhere. And I know I can train people. I can build up a brand that there's multiple of me out there shooting, and I get to build this business and also support people that have a passion to do this as well, right? So, Traveler, I don't want you to miss that and what he's saying, because that takes great skill. Like, when did you realize? And I know you said your wife does a lot of the business stuff, but when did you like really embrace it for yourself and believe that this is something that I can kind of grow into?
Well, so and to your point about that, I think I never really saw myself as an entrepreneur until maybe like 5 years ago, and it was the help with my wife that kind of made me see that you're really, our businesses are making more money as businesses than you are as just Howie Zales, the camera person. And my back was really starting to bother me because 25 years of having a camera on my shoulder, right? And then it kind of like flipped the switch in my brain to not just Howie Zales, a camera person, but I'm Howie Zales, the business owner, the entrepreneur, and it kind of helped me kind of flip the switch and make the jump to be more of a business owner. And one of the businesses that we have, they're all related in the TV world, but the one of the businesses we have is a school to teach the younger generation of people how to get into the business, the television, sports business, and entertainment business, and how to. We do a 2-day boot camp, and it's we teach them who the clients are, how to get in touch with the clients, how to talk to them, how to talk to the client on the phone, how to send an email. We give them email templates to send. How to follow up. What's the proper time to follow up? Time frame to follow up with clients. And then we teach them how to use the equipment. So the first time they show up on a job site, it's not the first time they're seeing that equipment. And then we wrote a book on how to shoot the 5 major sports: baseball, basketball, soccer, hockey, boxing, from every camera position that would really exist. So, and we made it a digital version so people could like be looking on their phones or their iPad when they're on location and kind of reference back to it.
Oh, I love it, man. I love it. So you created a system. So you took your knowledge, your skill set, and your wife was like, "Hey, we got to do something different here." And your health is in jeopardy. Before I finish this thought, because I don't want to lose this. You didn't happen to be one of the guys that got knocked over by one of the players at any time in your career. Oh, you had that.
3. I've had 3 concussions. Let's see. So you grew up on Long Island. I got hit here with a line drive in the head at Shea Stadium, where the Mets used to play before City Field.
Yeah.
I was doing a camera. I was doing a camera on the third base side of the Colorado Rockies, which was at the camera position is basically at the top step of the dugout, which is field level, right?
Yeah.
So the lead runner was on second base, so my job was to shoot the lead runner because it was a right-handed batter up. So that means I wouldn't shoot him. I was watching the pitch like I'm taught, just like this, right? Next thing I know, I'm in the hospital.
Oh, man.
I got hit in the head with a line drive, and then I got taken out. I got hit at Notre Dame one year by a Navy player. I ended up in
Oh
the
boy.
hospital with a concussion and a broken tailbone. And another time, somewhere on the NFL game, I really don't remember where it was.
It's understandable, Howie. It's understandable.
Thank you for listening to the Success Journey Show. Please follow us on our social media on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook at The Success Journey Show. Also, check out our website at thesuccessjourneyshow.com. Thank you for listening and enjoy the rest of the show.
Hey, Howie, I'm here thinking like, oh, I'm a veteran United States Marine, but you sound like you've been in combat.
Nothing like you.
Hey, I'm telling you. So these people are not even. So tell us about that kind of insurance and stuff. Now let's even talk about that because you're free. Somebody's freelancing and you get all those hits. How the insurance paying? How I want these people to hear about that stuff.
Yeah. So I mean, so I'm an employee of my business, and thankfully there's workers' comp and depending on what state you're in, whether it's New York disability, things like that. So thankfully I'm covered that way. All the medical or most of the medical expenses were covered. But
okay.
and everyone always feels bad, and Joe McEwen from the Mets who hit the ball, it gave me a signed baseball. Everyone.
Oh man,
yeah.
I'll be paid off. And so they hit me. I'll be laid out like, oh.
It hurt. It hurt for a good 3 weeks.
You had no helmet on, no nothing.
Yeah.
Oh man, I hope you learn your lesson to wear a helmet. No.
That should be part of your 2-day boot camp. Put a helmet on.
Oh.
But yeah, I sorry for that tangent, guys, but I just had to ask that question.
No worries.
But creating a system, right? So talk about Marlon and I, we work with a lot of entrepreneurs, coaches and consultants out there in the world, and those that this pandemic hasn't shown us anything is that you need to find ways to duplicate yourself, right? And duplicate yourself in a way to where we just literally could not be present. How can we still serve our clientele, right? So one thing that we did with a lot of our clients is how do we walk with them through a systematic way to put all of their intellectual property in out of their head, onto paper, and walk through the process to make sure that it's delivered in a way as though people feel as though they're right there with that individual, right? Being taught. Talk to us about, you don't have to go in detail about your program, but more so just how long it took for you guys to really take, everything out of your mind. And I'm quite sure you tapped into other resources of people that you knew that work with you, that collaborate, things of that nature. Talk about that process and how long it really took to build out a sound system. And then also the constant revisions to it and updating it as you guys are going along and learning as well.
Yeah, and I always didn't have systems, and it was through the help with some business coaches that kind of made me see, you really need systems in place. And so for every aspect of my business, after I, went to this mastermind, I went through and I kind of just, okay, when this situation comes up, this is what I do. And one through however many, I just listed what Howie Zales does. When this situation, and I titled it, right? And then when this situation arises, and every time a new situation arises that I don't have it written down, I create that system and I share it with my team. And the important part is that, I said we have 3 different businesses. I have one person that's kind of in charge of each business. So it's not me overseeing
Correct.
3 different businesses by
Yeah.
myself.
Now talk about that part too, because you have a lot of people that say, hey man, you have to focus on one. And you kind of gave away the recipe to how you're managing 3, pulling people in to help to manage those for you. But I'm quite sure that wasn't always the case, that you were a little bit more involved in the beginning in the formation of them. And then was there a natural sequence to each of those companies being developed?
Yeah, the first company, our HJZ Productions, our hiring company, that's been around the longest, since 2000. And it was just me for a very long time. And I was traveling, I was doing the hiring, I was doing the payroll at 4 in the morning sometimes, and making mistakes. And no sooner did I hire someone to like handle the billing, the payroll, like the whole business managing side of it, did we expand like twofold. And it was just literally the hiring of one employee, and then we hired someone else, and then it kind of expanded again. And I kind of oversee it, but I don't do the day-to-day emails or the day-to-day phone calls asking people if they're available and things like that. I have input to the people that work with me on who to call, and we have a system in place on who to call first, second, third, and things like that. But and then on our other business, my wife kind of runs the business side of that business, and I run, and it's a live stream business where we do events and live streams and meetings and concerts, but all just streaming. And she runs the business side of that, and I run the kind of the sales side, tech side of it.
Love it, man. No, that's good. Like, travelers, hope you guys heard that. Like, it was natural progression. When he hired someone, the company expanded, right? So that is so important. That is so important, and because you can hire someone and it be a detriment to your company, right? Because they're not the right fit. Or you said he hired someone and the production doubled, right? It's like, wait a minute. And then you hire another person and it blows up even more. That says a lot about you being able to hire the right people in those positions. When you're looking for people to work with you, what are some of the characteristics that you're working with beyond the skill set? Because, a lot of people have the different skill sets, but it takes people of certain characteristics, traits, to be able to add value to your systems and to your companies to help you grow. What do you look for in those?
Someone that's like-minded, like me. Someone that I know that and this was for like the business side of it. So this person was going to know my bank information, was going to know how much money was in my bank, have access to my business banking account. So I needed to, this person needed to be almost like family, right? So and I trust Lori like she's my second wife. So and seriously,
that makes sense. Yeah.
I was like, man, I hope I want to see that.
You have to, right? And and she's like-minded like me, and she treats my business as it was like hers. That's what I was about to say. You need to have people that work for you or work as part of your team that treat the business as it's like it was their own.
Man, I tell you, Howie, you say your last name Zales, you don't have diamonds, but you're definitely giving a lot of nuggets.
Just gems. Yeah, a lot of gems. A lot of gems.
A lot of gems.
I'm telling you, this is beautiful, because you see, when we first start the interview, our travelers could see we're talking to a person that said, I wanted to be a cameraman. I became a cameraman. I went around, I got knocked out a couple times. And now, and then what happens is, I started to grow my business, and it transitioned to that business side. Now, talk about that balance that you have to have as a person, even though you have a synergy. You have a synergy that you have to find, right? A sweet spot of how to operate everything. Talk about that balance, family life, also, work life.
Yeah. So for 25 years, I traveled 4 times a week. I would do football, wrestling, and or whatever sport event of the year was. And a lot of traveling, and I do a lot of my business entrepreneurial stuff when I was on the road in the hotel, and I try to not do too much of it at home. Now that I'm not traveling much anymore, I'm strictly working from home. I j- the work-life balance is a little more difficult because I get caught trying. Sometimes clients call or whatever at different times, but I'm trying to work on, and that's my biggest challenge is like putting the phone down. I'm not dealing with that right
Hmm.
now, or leaving the computer in the office. So because now it's dinner time or now it's time with the family, and you know
Yeah.
what, that can wait. So
Yeah.
I'm getting better at it, but it was a difficult transition, and learning to say no. No is a very powerful word,
Hmm.
and when you own your own business, and you don't want to say no because it's your own business and you want to make money, right? But
Correct.
sometimes by saying no makes you more money in the end. And what that means is sometimes the job is not right to take, right? For whatever the
Hmm.
reason is. And by you saying no, it can save you embarrassment. It can save you that maybe that the client was setting you up to fail. And
Yeah.
by you
Yeah.
saying no, it saves you money in the long run because you didn't have to pay people that maybe you were going to have to pay if the job went bad. Maybe the client's not going to pay you or whatever. So in the power of no is it's very powerful.
Yes, sir. We
Hmm.
say all money ain't good money.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All money's
You
not
said
good
it way
money.
better. You said it way better than I did.
Yeah. All money's not good money. Oh
Oh
man.
man.
No, Howie, have you just changing direction just a little bit? Have you ever been being going to all these professional games, right? Have you ever been recording or shooting? I shouldn't recording, but for your, I mean, what's the word I'm trying to say? Oh, for your home team, right? For your team that you love. Like this is my favorite team, and I get the opportunity to shoot it.
Yeah.
And how was that? Like, were you ever starstruck? Like, oh my goodness, man, I'm sitting
Oh
here.
yeah. I was at Yankee Stadium,
Woo!
Yankee
Yes, sir.
Stadium a few years ago, and I was working for WWE, but we were doing a shoot at Yankee Stadium, and one of our wrestlers we were talking to Reggie Jackson. So
Mm.
as a kid, I was at the World Series game when Reggie Jackson hit 3 home runs.
Oh
So
wow.
I was standing there shooting, right, with the camera on my shoulder, looking out of my viewfinder, going, "Oh my God, I'm talking to Reggie freaking Jackson." Yeah.
and then a
Oh
ball, and then
man.
a ball hit you.
Yeah.
Oh man, no, that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it must be fun. Family, friends connect with you. Like, oh man, you got a chance to see this person or that person, and just be in the environment of all greatness and people in these sports. I mean, they're at the top of the echelon. They have reached at the pinnacle of
Yeah.
athleticism, sports, and you're right there with them, and you're performing at your level of greatness. And that's what I one thing I want to share with everyone is that you look at where Howie is. He's out on a field with people that have trained for years to be top athletes in their sports, wrestling, baseball, football. You say he did some basketball. These are the top athletes, and you have kids around the world wanting to train, get up every single morning to be like these individuals that they see on this TV. I mean, you see the commercials around them. You see the cereal boxes that their
Mhm.
faces are on. I mean, the Olympics, all this stuff, the top of the top. And you have someone that's as equally great behind the camera
Correct.
capturing them, right?
Correct.
You
Correct.
know, it blows my mind because what I want a lot of our travelers to understand, and some of our travelers are young kids or even adults, whatever it may be. You don't have to be in front of the camera to be seen as great, all right? Because it takes someone just as equally great to be able to
Correct.
capture something that's great, have that
Y-
eye.
y-
So,
y- You just have to love what you do and give 100%. And
Yes.
that's it.
it doesn't matter what you do, where you do it. Just have fun doing it and give all you can possibly give to, that's it.
That's
Yeah.
it, man.
I don't know if you have an NDA on this one, but I'm going to ask it anyway. I know recently, the XFL was doing great right before the pandemic hit.
Yeah, I know.
It was making a comeback. I saw that. I'm in Washington, D.C., and those guys had the cups that they were doing. They're making that long cup, like whatever they're doing, and they were making a comeback. And then, Ed McMahon, of course, they sold it out to The Rock. I don't know if you have any contacts. What they're going to do with the XFLs? What's gonna happen to it? Is it going to make a comeback?
I thought I heard 2023.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's a great idea, man. I even had an idea that they should have done do the XFL and tied into the NFL and kind of do like how they do soccer in Europe. If you're not cutting the mustard in the big league, you get demoted and go down. Not saying the XFL is, but you have a team from the XFL come up to the NFL, and then you have a team from the NFL go down to the XFL. They have to fight.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I was like, that'd be a crazy idea. I'll sit at work one day thinking about that. But anyway, if they steal that, that's my idea. Guys. Do it. I know you got muscles, but I can fight. And how we can take a hit.
So Howie, one thing that we ask all of our guests towards the end of the podcast is, if you had a chance to go back somewhere in time and just had a moment with yourself, right? And just be able to pull them aside, pretty much time travel backwards. And, I would love to go back to that 11th grader that signed up for this course, right? To get ready to get introduced into this whole world of filming and capturing and all that stuff. If you had like a minute just to pull them aside and just talk to them, knowing what you know now through your life, what would you say to the young Howie?
Yeah, awesome question. Trust your gut. It'll never steer you wrong. And don't run from something that you're afraid of. Just because it's hard or tough or you're not good at it doesn't mean you can't get good at it. And for me, what that means is I'm a horrible writer. And I ran from taking courses to make me better at writing. And to this day, it's my number one thing that like holds me back. I don't send an important email out without my wife proofreading it. Because it's just such like for me, it's such a crutch that I didn't like take more courses to get better at it. So I wish I would have done that when I was younger. So whatever that means for someone else, whatever their issue is, that's what I would say.
Oh man, love it, love it.
Hey, go ahead, Rick. I was gonna say, your podcast. I don't want you to leave it out.
Yes, that's what I'm growing. Yep.
Plugging in your podcast. Talk about your podcast and let the viewers know where they can find it.
Yeah, HowieZales.com. A podcast is called The Unexpected Entrepreneur. It airs live weekly Wednesdays at 12 noon Eastern, and it's an entrepreneurial podcast. We hope to inspire younger entrepreneurs and kind of like what you guys do, just give them tips and ideas and ways that older or other entrepreneurs do things that hopefully try to inspire a younger generation.
Lovely.
Love it. Is there any other? Yeah. Is there any other information that you'd like to share with anyone? I know you mentioned about the courses, how they can access and be a part of your community so they can learn more about this field industry.
Yeah, our website, HowieZales.com, and I'm on LinkedIn at Howard Zales, Instagram at Howie Zales. So any of those ways.
Love it. Well, listen, Howie, man, this has been an amazing conversation. Just to get to know you, connect with someone else from the Northeast area, really good. And travelers, I just want to thank you guys for just tuning in. Listen, go check out Howie's website, social media. How often do you get a chance to talk to the person that's capturing the things that are on your screen, the things that you prepare for every Saturday, every Sunday during a week, to sit down with your family, to the things that inspire us, the Olympics. Come on now. I mean, like all those different things, this person is doing all, we didn't even get into the prep work it takes to do all the stuff behind the scenes. But all that prep work and everything to get the crews ready to be ready to film so that when you turn on that channel for that live show, that everything is seamless. You know, one other thing I got to say, because we all have experienced that person that thought that they knew what they were doing behind the camera. That person that, you know, they're supposed to be recording your concert, and instead of having a camera focused on you and your greatest moment, their camera is focused on the crowd, you know, or vice versa. You're not catching the greatest things. And when you're watching that show or that sport activity on your TV, and you're getting everything to feel, you know, oh my goodness, are they going to win, right? Get on the edge of your seat every single Sunday, every single week. Who's going to win this match? That's Howie right there doing that for you and his team. So Howie, we thank you for making it real for us and stepping from behind the camera and sharing a little bit of your story. And we hope to talk to you again soon, and hopefully, you know, see you in person. I do travel up there every now and again. So
that'd be awesome.
We thank you so much for joining us today, and all of our travelers. Don't forget, go check us out on our website, thesuccessjourneyshow.com, or listen to any other previous episodes on any podcast platform. Marlon, I think I found another podcast platform. It may not be on, but we'll talk about that later. But anyways, guys, I will see you, and we will see you next week at the same time, the same place on the Success Journey Show. Everyone have a good one. Peace.
One love.
All right.
You've been listening to The Success Journey Show, where your dreams, drive, determination, and diligence are the foundation to success. For more information, check out thesuccessjourneyshow.com. The Journey Squad is here helping you to your destination.